Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So some more information is coming out concerning Tim Walz and his involvement in fraud over in Minnesota. His involvement, or shall I say a cover-up, when it comes to various types of fraud that was going on. And it's been alleged that he fired a whistleblower one day before he gave testimony about the Housing Stabilization Services program and fraud related to that. The program exploded from $2.6 million to more than $161 million annually, with internal estimates showing roughly 90% fraudulent claims. So this is the Minnesota state officials testifying on alleged misuse of federal funds.
Do you have any doubt that Governor Tim Walz knew about this fraud as it was occurring?
He absolutely knew that it was occurring.
Thank you. The Housing Stability Services Program was estimated to cost about $2.6 million per year, but before it was shut down last October, it was on track to run about $122 million in 2025. In fact, I think they sucked $161 million out of it from the point it started in 2020 until it was finally shut down. Isn't that correct?
That is correct, and Joe Thompson believes that 90% of that was fraud.
Yeah. The Quality Leering Center, as uncovered by Nick Shirley, received almost $10 million in funding. Is that accurate?
I believe it is.
There are more than 80 autism centers in Minnesota under investigation. Is that true?
I believe it is, yes.
It's clear that someone is criminally complicit. You can't just let this amount of money get out of your administration over a period of 7 years without knowing. There was a hearing in the state regarding the fraudulent housing stabilization program, but before that hearing, Governor Walz fired the official who was slated to testify so that they could not testify and expose what was happening under Governor Walz's watch. Has Governor Walz or Attorney General Ellison fired anyone else to your knowledge, Representative?
Not to my knowledge, and that was Eric Rumdahl, and his administration believes that he was not fired, but I say he was fired because it was too convenient.
Great. Representative Hudson, is it true that 90% of the individuals charged, regardless of what your colleague on the panel just said with his facts and figures, 90% of the individuals charged or indicted with the $250 million Feeding Our Future COVID fraud are of Somali descent?
I believe that to be correct.
Are you aware that in a 2021 video, Mr. Ellison promised that he would obstruct his own agencies in their investigation of Somali fraud?
I am very much aware of that.
It's no wonder that criminals in the Somali community felt they were free to steal taxpayer dollars. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Marion. Do you have any doubt that Tim Walz knew about this fraud as it was occurring?
None whatsoever.
Walz and Ellison were protecting fraudsters.
Wow. Very, very damning testimonies right there. Is it any wonder he's not going for re-election?
So you said this is the tip of the iceberg. We learned there's a political motive and incentive behind it, and Walz was warned repeatedly. Do you have any doubt all of that's true?
No, it's 100% true. Look, these state legislators are well respected. They took an oath. They went under oath. If they lied, then they commit perjury. No one is accusing them of lying in Minnesota. They said also that whistleblowers have been coming forward for years, not weeks, not months, but years, trying to warn Tim Walz and the Attorney General Keith Ellison that this fraud was happening. And Walz would then in turn retaliate against the whistleblowers, who are all state employees. There are checks and balances all along the way where government agencies and independent auditors and inspectors general are supposed to catch this fraud. Apparently they were catching the fraud in Minnesota, but every time they would report it, Tim Walz would bite their head off and threaten their jobs, threaten their tenure, and it would just go away until this video went viral, and here we are.
He is saying that he believes there will be real accountability when it comes to investigations into the fraud. And he said that he believes Tim Walz has some real liability there.
Well, first of all, I'm confident that we're going to see some real accountability here. The Department of Justice is already on the ground. They've already arrested several dozen people in connection with Somali fraud. I think that number is going to increase significantly, probably tenfold at least. And I think that what you saw today showed that Tim Walz and Attorney General Keith Ellison both have liability in this because they knew about this fraud. Yet not only did they turn a blind eye, they retaliated against any brave state employees in the state of Minnesota who would come forward and tell them what was going on. So they didn't want to do it, and the reason they didn't do it was because it was political. That's why the Democrats left the border open. They lost the confidence of the working men and women. They've lost the confidence of anyone in America who had common sense.
So here we have a member of the Somali community letting Democrats know in no uncertain terms that if they're not protected, if people are allowed to continue digging into this fraud, continue investigating and exposing it, then they will lose the support of the Somali community. That's what he's saying. And what does that tell you? It speaks to the motive of allowing this to continue in the first place, ensuring that certain communities are bought and paid for when it comes to votes.
Why would Governor Walz let $9 billion in fraud occur? Mr. Hudson.
In my opinion, because it was politically beneficial to Democrats. Again, the Somali community is a huge constituency group.
My name is Mohammed. I'm speaking today on behalf of the Somali community in Lewiston. Some of you sitting here today, we voted for you. We elected you to protect our community interests, not creating division or go after one elected member from our community. This narrative, if this narrative continues, our community will be forced to re-examine our relationship or political relationship, including our relationship with the Democratic Party and who will be voting in the future. This is not a threat.
So there's a Somalian refugee, Iman Osman. He is about to be sworn into the Lewiston, Maine City Council.
Iman Osman, the newly sworn-in Lewiston City Councilor who is facing gun theft charges, was in court Wednesday morning. Osman was elected in November and sworn in Monday night as Lewiston's Ward 5 councilor. After new members were sworn in Monday night, the Lewiston City Council voted 6-1 for Osman to be investigated. Now, he was indicted by an Androscoggin County grand jury in December on charges of receiving stolen property and theft by an unauthorized taking. According to court documents, the charges are connected to firearms or explosive devices obtained from 2 different estates between November of 2023 and October of 2024. Osman has denied all criminal charges.
The same man in court this morning to support Somali refugee Iman Osman, who was indicted on federal gun charges. So basically, he just admitted that the fraud is happening at scale and that if they cannot continue doing it, they will no longer vote Democrat. Holy smokes, folks. What is even happening in the USA? So it is undeniable. And of course, the main thing people are asking for are consequences, accountability, criminal charges. Some people are optimistic, others are not, but there's so much been exposed now. They can't ignore it. They can't gaslight people and continue to deny it or say that we've investigated it. Clearly, there's more that needs to be investigated. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Take care of yourselves, and God willing, I will see you in the next video.